Oh. Crack a do, I see the future, boy, a fraudy, capping reckless. Correct spilling, that's a crime scene, CSI, Smiths on red with vultures blue, I'm Nostradamus mixed with warriors, clearly stupid. Bob blast the block, tsunami, I was drowning down on State Street. Major Melon told me drought coming, prep a mode, I'm stashing rations. Pitch black dropped on Halloween, I told my bishop that this happening. I'm the prophet in the gas, they reading cans like golden tablets. They ain't studied Dewteronomy, now the whole block need to vanish. Live wire hit my tongue, I started seeing visions, Angel Moroni. Wide out, dropped in winter, told them packing shit, we headed to Provo. Frostbite got the fisherman panic. Ice Age, we the penguins. Purple thunder in my cup, I'm on a mission, door to door, preaching. Sipping Typhoon at the Maverick. That's when I predicted Katrina. Shorty asked what I was drinking, told her prophecy, aluminum Tina. She said, how you see the future? Baby girl, I read the scripture. Every flavor dropping hints, I'm cracked to do the Sabbath rule breaker. Sweet lightning dropped, I told the ward, the bishop taxing all their income. Spark the can like Tesla coils, carbonation, I'm the seer, I'm chosen. Boy was talking slick, zero sugar, now he diabetic, fading. Crush him like an empty can, aluminum, he dated. They try to slide a Maverick, I'm dodging bullets, Frogger. Co-red on the pavement, ambulance, I'm the disaster cataloger. I was preaching duology when I was pushing cards at Costco. Now I'm sipping by a deep dive, seeing futures. Word of wisdom? Forgot, bro. Oh no, ayy. Cracking do, I see the future, boy, a fraudy, capping reckless. Co-red spilling, that's a crime scene, CSI, Smiths on red with vultures blue, I'm Nostradamus mixed with warheads, purely stupid. Baja blast the block, tsunami, I was drowning down on State Street. Major Melon told me drought coming, prep a mode, I'm stashing rations. Pitch black dropped on Halloween, I told my bishop death is happening. I'm the prophet in the gas station, reading cans like golden tablets. They ain't studied Dewteronomy, yeah. The whole block need a valley. Caribbean said the tropics closing, Book of Mormon devastation. Read the can like scripture carbonation, bringing new revelations. Vulture said the rise coming, static coming, insulation. I predicted SpongeBob's ending before Nickelodeon's creation. Water, ay. Every sip another omen like a Briam Young was on the Adderall. Saw a vision at the Maverick, told them hurricanes would set them all. Co-red prophecy was written back when Blockbuster was popping still. Now I'm dodging lobster sand, he's sipping dew, breaking mission protocol. She said, you're insane, I told her that's the sugar mixed with visions. I can tell who finna perish by they cooler door decisions. Spark a can, I'm getting dizzy, seeing future dimensions switching. They was laughing at my preaching till they city on the water dripping. Got a white shirt and a name tag, but this dude got me converting. Pitch black told me solar flares was coming, NASA now confirming. Frostbite said the poles was melting, way before Al Gore was learning. I'm the soda shaman, fizzy chosen, dirty soda always churning. Ayy, water, ayy. Cracking do, I see the future, boy, a fraudy, capping reckless. Co-red spilling, that's a crime scene, CSI, Smiths on red with voltage blue, I'm Nostradamus mixed with warheads, purely stupid. Bob blast the block, tsunami, I was drowning down on State Street. Major Melon told me drought coming, prep a mode, I'm stashing rations. Pitch black dropped on Halloween, I told my bishop death is happening. I'm the prophet in the gas station, reading cans like golden tablets. They ain't studied Dewteronomy, now the whole block need to vanish.
It's my play Mormon Mondays. It's time for the secret handshake. Tune in and race through the veil. It's time for monthly Mormon Monday.
Monthly Mormon Monday, Sunday. How you guys doing?
It's never on the right day.
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Everything in order. Congratulations, Heidi. Another got another grandbaby. So
Yes.
the Mormon roots. I mean, you can't you can take the Mormon, you can leave the Mormons, but you can't take the Mormon out of you. How does that go?
Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah, no, we got one kid that maybe he thinks he's Mormon. He's having them babies close. No, I'm just kidding.
So and then we got what up, Donut?
Yo, what up? It's Donut. Oh,
Long
nothing.
overdue. And this was speaking of due, this was like a long overdue episode too, because I just found out, and I feel like Heidi, you've been hiding dirty soda from me. I just heard about it like a month ago, and I did like a little bit of a deep dive, and there's going to be a bunch of fun like Mormon politics and stuff to talk about. But do you know what dirty soda is?
Who, me?
Me?
Heidi.
I do.
Yeah, do you know
Oh.
what dirty soda is?
I hate them. Yeah, I hate them. Yeah. I'm like so not. Yeah, I guess they want to probably throw me out of Utah for that, honestly.
It's described as kind of like a Starbucks for people that drink soda. So you go to a drive-through. It's kind of like Starbucks, but it's all soda stuff. And you would be like, "Give me this base, give me 2 pumps of this," and it's usually a soda as the base, and then there's a cream, and then there's like fruit flavors that they'll add to it.
I
But
can't.
they've got all
Yeah.
these different. You can like have your specific order and all these different flavors. And I think that all the different Mountain Dew flavors kind of like mimic this, and that now there's this interesting trend that's being attributed to Mormons, though, this dirty soda in particular. And something that I found was interesting is that it started getting popular in the 2010s, and I guess 2012 exactly that year, the Mormons clarified that their hot drink, restrictions did no longer was going to apply to caffeinated soda, and that now it was just going to be, I guess, coffee and tea and hot chocolate and things like that. Is any of this correct?
It always was that. They just went back to the original. They rolled it back. So Joseph Smith said hot drinks. They kind of took a little liberty with that and oppressed the people from the sodas that they were still drinking. I think they gave up. They were like, look, we got to caffeinate these people. They're all on Addies, you know. So yeah, we don't want to say that in the first 5 minutes. Anyways.
We're 6 minutes in. We're good. That's the whole reason
Okay,
for the music, is that it gives us a
Oh, I
buffer
see it.
and like go crazy
Okay.
as soon as we open.
Because my mouth, that's why. These two are behaved. Then there's me in the corner.
We are well behaved. Yeah, we can do kids parties if you need us for anything. We can keep it clean.
Exactly. Hey, Donut, don't offer Donut up for kids party. I got a daughter that will absolutely want that. And
Okay,
he'll
shout
get-
out to Devlin from
He'll get
Sudbury,
taken over.
Ontario.
Super chat. Feed that kitty cat.
Thank you,
Meow, meow.
thank you.
Well, so this dirty soda, right? It's part of this Mountain Dew conglomerate with the Belluminati and Taco Bell. And it goes into so many different corporations like Kentucky Fried Chicken. And the predictive programming, which I'd like to hear about the Dewteronomy, that wordplay that's in this title. It's been showing predictive programming in Mountain Dew. It's called priming. It's a theory that's out there. A lot of people have done great work on it. I don't get any credit for it, even though when you see these on the mainstream, the code red system, how I tied in that after the towers fell down, they put in place a code red system. A month prior, Mountain Dew released Code Red system. That was on the Donut Factory channel, that breaking stuff. And now the mainstream news is reporting on it, but that won't get talked about. So I'm a little resentful about that.
I don't blame you.
But the thing is tying it back to where do these theories sort of are originating from. Carbonated soda, is older than America's founding, and it's very tied into electricity, Benjamin Franklin, and spirits, alchemy, where the carbonated parts of the soda were actually spirits, like it's air. So it was very pharmaceutical in a lot of senses, because Coca-Cola, the guy was a pharmacist, and the first Coca-Cola building was a pharmacy building where they sold it, and now it's a Walgreens pharmacy where the original Coca-Cola building was. So
Dr. Pepper, right? He was a doctor.
Dr. Pepper with the 23 Enigma on there, and Pepsi, which is Bell or Brad, I think it's called Brad drink. So like the Super Bowl, Pepsi Super Bowl, originates from the Brad drink, which is kind of funny.
Well, I'll tell you, you hit some bells and whistles there. The first Kentucky Fried Chicken, or KFC as we call it in the Utah places, was here in Utah, just so people know. And actually the people that funded and are behind that, and even the Colonel himself, have a lot of Mormon ties. And then we get into, did they own Coke? Did they not own Coke? Were they owning Pepsi? Were they? It's scandalously hidden, because I don't think they wanted to get caught, because Somebody mentioned, oh, you're not supposed to have caffeine. That's just not true. It was always hot drinks because of the tannic acid. This is what they said. So, and yes, they drink something called Pero instead of coffee, which my grandma drank, and I think it does have ephedra in it. But yeah, they love their uppers. But then there's
And
the
I
down. And,
got some images of that Pedro or whatever it's called. But even Taco Bell, right, was created by this ex-military guy, Bell, white guy. He looks very white. So you think Taco Bell, you think tacos. And his first Taco Bell stand, which is now in business with Mountain Dew, the reason I'm bringing up Taco Bell, is that the original spot for Taco Bell mean like the place of death. That was the original name of it in Spanish. It was called Mortre or something, El Mortre or something like that.
It didn't test as well with the markets, I assume.
oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so like taking it back to what is sugar? Why do we get sugar to spirits on Halloween, right? So there is this connection to the sugar skulls, let's say for the Day of the Dead, to Halloween, to even mixing ancient potions of serpent type energy into a potion to drink it for magical purposes. So this idea of carbonated soda, dirty pop, all this, not only is there subliminal messaging in the advertising and alchemical processes throughout it, but it goes back to ritualistic traditions.
Well, and the Mormons definitely wanted you to drink sugar because they are one of the first to open up a sugar factory and use, instead of cane sugar, beet sugar here in Utah. And the prophet of the church, when they were building this sugar company, said, if it breaks the church, we will build this sugar company. So
I like the Mormons. The Mormons are
it
all my
depends.
Mormon, yeah. Shout out to all my Mormon friends and all that.
Yeah, we've actually been hired by the Mormon Church to bring Heidi back into the fold.
Never.
So I feel like we're doing an okay job. We're breaking you down.
It's fascinating though, the symbolism of it. Going to Utah for my first time and seeing the bee symbolism everywhere was quite cool to see all the different symbols. Have you seen the new film Begonia?
No.
This movie it's dope. It's nuts though, and it goes into aliens, bees, homunculi, and the bees play a big role, and the bees are very important in Utah. But Utah is full of strange encounters with the paranormal, whether that's the UFO sightings in the clouds, and Skinwalker Ranch being the hyperdimensional portal on land there, where you get different entities coming in and out of the Unitah Basin. And Joseph Smith, he had a experience of an angel or a being, but that wasn't in Utah, was it?
No, that was in Palmyra, New York. So he never made it this way. He was, he asked for help, but no one came to give the hailing sign.
Wasn't
we won't make Thomas leave.
The most fascinating story is, wasn't he in a gun battle, a blast battle? Like that's some.
He was a cowboy. I mean, maybe not the best cowboy.
I mean, he was a magician cowboy. I mean, they did sneak him a gun, and he had that in the jail cell, and then he ended up, what they say is, jumping out a window. So, and he did give the no sign and ask for help, but there was no help for him that day. And I mean, you have to understand, their alchemy was strong, and they used it not just for soda, but for money. I think it got him in big trouble. Then the wives, it's all, was looked down on. So, yeah.
So I'm very deep into an alien, research in this book, Closer Encounters. And he taught the author, Reza Georgiani, ties in all the different religions and connecting it to, like, in chapter 6, religion, and it goes into a lot of alien stuff in the clouds. So like Moses went into a cloud, right? And then he was in there for a while, and other people couldn't go near the cloud, and the cloud could do stuff very similar to a UFO. And then I heard from Thomas that the Mormons, oh, not even, I didn't hear from Thomas. I heard it from my ex-girlfriend's grandfather, who was reading an alien book, and he's like, yeah, the Mormons, we believe in aliens. Like, it's totally okay. And I was like, oh, that's dope. That's dope.
My understanding is
too.
that Mormons are very open to aliens and extraterrestrial stuff because it's one of the few modern religions that acknowledges other planets that people could potentially live on. And like one of my favorite Joseph Smith like writings is about how there's Quakers living on the moon. So like the concept of having this planetary travel and ways that people could be living on different planets baked into a religion still fascinates me. So if there were a religion that's well established at this point, like an actual huge worldwide international with huge bankroll that believes in UFOs, Mormons would make the most sense. Like they can't even compare it to like Raelians or anything.
So
look how many of them were in NASA, like our show together. Yeah,
that was an interesting show.
it was a great show. I think people miss that. Yeah,
and Paranoid made a good point that they're sober. You know, they're going to show up on time. That does make that.
It's important.
The Sanskrit text of the Vimanas are interesting. How Oppenheimer was even, looking at that Sanskrit as proof of nuclear weaponry in antiquity, and so the whole UFO thing, and it wasn't even the Scientologists connected somehow to something, or maybe I'm tripping. No, that was way later.
Yeah, I do think their theology and the contact is, it's been going on. Yeah.
There's definitely a connection between Scientology and Mormonism because Aleister Crowley wrote very favorably about Joseph Smith. He was like a huge fan of Joseph Smith's approach and the fact that he was introducing this new religion that was like deep with magic. And then in turn, Aleister Crowley influences Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard to do like the Moonchild rituals. And then from those rituals comes L. Ron Hubbard's creation of the Scientology. So like you don't necessarily get the same Scientology without a Joseph
the sexy
Smith
part. Yeah, no, I don't know,
what
because
was
he was
part?
not my version of sexy, but the sex, the workings. But
the Moonchild ritual, with which he called the Babylon workings.
Yeah, were the Babylon. Yeah, so I think it is the same. Like, he just, the Mormons will tell you, and they've been telling people, but people don't really care to listen. They really do say the quiet part out loud a lot. They said that, the Masons didn't have it right and we fixed it. So here it is. And we have the true form of Masonry. And, Joseph Smith was, out there on the fall equinox. It was very purposeful what he wore, everything. It was like a quarter-day ceremony. Let's be honest. Like he knew what he was doing. He's sacrificing dogs and blood sacrifices, crazy stuff, and sheeps, and they don't want to get into all that, but his sexual stuff. Yeah.
What happened on the fall equinox?
Oh, so he went out on the day, like late at night, and then at like around 3 a.m, he did this for years, and he would dress all in black and borrow a black horse, and he would go commune with this spirit, much like if you look into like the Mizraim rites, they say on the equinoxes, especially fall and spring, you can go out and commune with spirits if you do certain things. But he kept screwing it up. He kept making it mad. And then his brother died. He wanted him to bring the brother. They had to dig him up, but they said they didn't, but they did. And it was pretty interesting. So everybody jokes that his brother had a hand in Mormonism because they had to put it in the newspaper that they dug him up. And they did. They like straight up admitted that they were checking him to make sure no one had done any weird stuff like they were going to do. And so, yeah, it was very much more than people, they make it sound just a lot nicer than that.
Here's a good question: are Mormons Christian?
Oh, this is a loaded question.
You're super biased on this one because you're ex-Mormon and you're new Christian. I think conventionally, if you were to ask like an everyday
Ask
Mormon,
Andreas. Andreas says no. He
well,
says
Andreas has his own version of
not
mainstream
the same
Mormonism.
Jesus. Yeah.
If you ask a mainstream Mormon and not a Zerdus Mormon,
Right.
if Mormons were Christian, the answer is yes, right? That Mormonism
They
is
think
a
they are. Yes. They think they're
lipid.
I think they have a different Jesus, but I don't think they know that they do. Most of them are not nefarious people. We've had that talk. Like nobody's practicing high magic unless you're a magician, and not everyone is, and not everyone can be. It's just like masonry. Like not everyone's going to get to the top of the top. Like not everyone's going to make all the cuts. Like some guys are just going to be there for dinner.
When you were growing up, did you read the New Testament when you went to Mormon Temple?
Yes. Well, but they have the Joseph Smith translation of the Bible. Yes.
How different is the Joseph Smith New Testament versus the old? Is it still like if you were to sit down and read that, is it Christian? Is it still a Christian Bible?
I mean, yeah. They talk about
even
Jesus.
an ex-Mormon admits that the Joseph Smith Bible. So I don't know. I feel that you could say that it's a version of Christianity.
Sorta. Yeah, I think they have
Sorta.
a different honestly, I think it's just like the ones that, are in Gnosticism and they say, okay, they have a couple different Jesuses, they have like, the Nathan Jesus and these other Jesus. Like they talk about different weird stuff too, and I mean, they're not going to say they're not. And it's very Christian mystic, but yeah, Joseph Smith was, and I know a lot of people do say people worship him, and they do, but they still do have like their Jesus, their deity for sure. Yes. But they have a mother in heaven. And I think that's fascinating because, mother in heaven and father in heaven, it's pretty interesting. And I'm only conceding to the fact on Christianity for Mormons because there's so many people that believe that they are, because they don't read their own theology. At the top of the top, those top people, I don't believe so. No, the people that know, no way. So that's my thoughts.
Are you allowed to wear a cross in Mormon Temple?
Never, ever. Nope.
Not
They're
allowed?
just like nope. They're more like the not the Templars. What's the other one? Not Rosicrucians. Cathars. They're more like the Cathars. They don't like the cross. They hate the cross. And that's
They don't like Roman forms of torture. They don't think the J-man would want to be reminded of the way that he got taken out.
Exactly what they say, word for word. Couldn't have said it better. Like would you want to come back and see that if you were Jesus? So they're very against it. If you were across the church, you are going to get the evil eye.
There was a KRS-One rant from the 90s, but he was making a good point. He was like, if Jesus died today and he got shot, then everyone would wear a little golden gun around their neck. And then if he came back to life, the last thing he's going to want to see is another gun, probably. So there might be the same thing. But honestly, if you get into the whole solar interpretation, though, the cross wasn't just this Roman torture device. It also symbolizes the different equinox and the solstices, right? Isn't that like it was way more charged than like a little Glock symbol would be?
Right. Depends on which cross you're drawing. Like we got all kinds of crosses, and I think you're right on that one for sure. But I think that it's interesting that we see, them not have a problem with wearing Masonic crosses at all. You'll see Brigham Young do it. You'll see other people do it, but not the traditional Christian cross.
You can't do that in many churches. That's a little bit of a gamble, showing up with like Masonic regalia.
You're okay.
On you.
Yeah, you'd be fine. You could go to LDS church with that. They'd be all right about it. They'd ask you which lodge. Like I mean, honestly, it used to be kind of like, don't ask, don't tell. And then it got into like, whatever. Yep. This is what's up. And I think it's because they kind of tried to hide it, but it's stupid because every old prophet has like the Masonic, stance or some symbol or a bloodstone and all this. I think they just got tired. And now if you go to the LDS website, they're like, so you heard we're Masons. Cool. We are like, like they got tired of it. I think.
It's
If
very
anything, they're taking up the mantle.
the
Go ahead, Doenut.
astrology aspect of all
Oh,
different world religions is very interesting in all the different writings and the days. I find that stuff interesting, astrology in general.
well, they took that out too, don't it?
And the
They took
symbol.
out all the good parts. Like that's what me and Thomas have been talking about is they took out all the fun stuff. Like Joseph Smith was huge into astrology and also they said not just Joseph Smith said about the moon, but Brigham Young said about people living on the sun. However, I think these are more Rosicrucian type things, but whatever you want to translate that into for, our reality today, they're dead. We can't ask them. But,
I'm doing
they
a
were
Rosicrucian
into it.
podcast right after this. The goal.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
interesting. I didn't.
Yeah, their stuff aligns. I'll tell you. And people, I don't know. I think there was just this pushback of like, oh, we don't want to seem weird because they keep killing us. Like, I mean, and that's true. Like, it was.
I don't know if you ever got into Jordan Maxwell at all, but
Oh
like
yes. Oh
every
yes.
single thing that guy talked about, he did talk about a lot of topics. He always repeated himself, which was sort of like, oh, if I say something new, once you listen to hundreds of hours.
Hundreds of them.
But like he brought up
That's
how
for me.
important the word Kirk is, and now Kirk
Oh,
is like the most important
like
thing
the church.
today.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's connected with Utah as well. And he showed the symbols of astrology, like how the Pope wears a Saturn hat. It's called the Saturn hat, and it's interesting. It's the whole Sunday being the sun and Saturday, Sabbath, Saturn's day. That's all interesting. Then you look more into it. He's not coming up with these ideas. Like you look into it, you go back, you're like Thursday's for Thor, and the moon is Monday. Yeah, that's
awesome. Yeah, it's true.
I gotta ask, just since we're coming off the tail end of Thanksgiving right now, right? So is Thanksgiving big for Mormons, or is
I
it not
mean,
as big?
it's big as in buy a lot of turkeys because we got a lot of kids. But yeah, no, they go all out for all holidays. But I'll tell you their two favorites is Christmas and Halloween. Halloween is huge for the Mormons. In fact, Halloween is let's play who can have the biggest display in our front yard and make a haunted house and everything. They go crazy for it. They're crazy for it.
that's why I like them. That's why they cool. Very festive. I've only had good experiences with Mormons.
And they're nice people. Here's the bad thing is the people in the middle, they don't know any of this. Like I will tell you, I didn't know half of not even a quarter of what I know now studying their books. It's not like I'm out there in some weird, occultic bookstore and all these are their books. A lot of times they're historians like D. Michael Quinn, they're a historian. They fired him and excommunicated him shortly after he put his stuff out there, which really ticked him off. And he wrote some really crazy books after that. So they probably shouldn't have done that. But,
the whole thing with I've been reading about Hypatia and Justinian and Cyril and how the Black Death, when that happened, that was what ushered in more, theocracy at that time, which then turned into other theocracies all over the Middle East and just the whole takeover. And it's interesting the religious aspects of things on a mind control level, not the spiritual level. It is interesting because when you study symbolism, mind control, and belief systems, how a symbol is controlling people in a lot of ways because our belief system is different than mind control. So I call it belief control. And the symbols used in all the different religions, you show it, then you show it on the news, and then you put a whole entire collective group into a bubble, and then you pit the people against each other, and you just cause chaos, wars, and that's a lot of profit. Talking about profits, it's a crazy topic to wrap my head around, and it's super interesting.
Prophets.
Almost
It's
as
speaking
interesting
of,
as Mountain Dew.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. See, they're always, the funniest thing is, and even with soda or whatever the case may be, right? Like there's always a Mormon 3 steps behind whoever's in charge. I can tell you that. And they're the hidden hand,
So who's
literally.
in charge?
I mean, the days, right? Like
Well, I think
we have a
I
lot.
what it
I'm
is.
sure the chat's got a whole bunch of very opinionated suggestions of
What it
who
is.
is they.
What the they is. This is how they keep everyone fighting each other and under control. Is that they use this thing of camouflage, like the mantis, and the mantis could camouflage, the octopus could camouflage, the owl can camouflage. And in Twin Peaks show, I guess there's a big correlation to owls camouflaging with the mantis with the television show. But you get all these different groups, and they're all the same. They're all the same. They're all work together, and they just keep switching and marrying into each other. So it's all the different religions that they put their name on there, their religion by that name, but they just change religions, conversion, and they keep converting, and then that's how they stay in control. That's like the top level, and then just people trying to be spiritual and find God and get through the damn day. They're the ones that get blamed for whatever. When you got this aristocratic top elite, that just changes all the time.
Well, here,
Yeah.
speaking of changing all the time, I think that's another fascinating point of Mormonism. And this dirty soda thing, like I was mentioning, that it only became a thing around 2012, and it coincides directly with the Mormon Church clarifying itself and saying that caffeinated drinks are available now. But here's an interesting thing is that BYU, right, Brigham Young University, they upheld the ban. They were basically like fighting with the LDS Church, and they were like, we haven't changed our policy, so regardless of whatever the church says, this is how it's going to be at BYU. And then I think that after 2 or 3 years, they held it out, and then eventually they rescinded it. But the way that not just the LDS Church does this, but also how even BYU did it, they never say that like we've changed policy. It's always that, oh, that was always the policy. We're just clarifying it. It's like they don't necessarily admit that something changed. It's always just a re-clarification. There's something really interesting about that, and I guess you just submit to it.
Well, I think they're smart enough to have. I mean, Donut talks a lot about the Illuminati, and if you look at James Strang, if you look at James Strang, and he didn't hide much, which is why I think they kind of right took him out. But you look at these things like, okay, the bees, and we know originally the Illuminati was the Perfectibilis, right? And then the bees were they almost named it
The
the
Order of the
bees.
Bees. Yeah.
Yes. And so I think that, well, I know that there's much more to it than what there seems to be, but it's not just the Mormons. He's absolutely right. It's all of the top level religions. It's a one world religion. Yeah. Like
So
it's the elite.
I'm happy you brought up the Illuminati, because the Illuminati has been very connected to the French Revolution. A lot of people say that was orchestrated by the Illuminati. And the guy who created carbonated soda, where we get it from, he was a big supporter of the French Revolution, so much that he had to escape to come to America because there was this uproar against him. They burnt down his home and others and had a 3-day riot, the guy who created carbonated soda. And he came over here to America after his stop in England. So that's kind of funny. So he might have been the guy who created soda could have been Illuminati.
May have been. Maybe he was a Mormon. Who knows?
Well, this was before Mormonism, right? It wasn't Mormons created in
Yeah.
not before 1776.
No,
Uh,
early 1800s, right? Like 1820
Yeah.
or something.
But something that was related to the Mormons was out there. You know, his lineage is Universalists, so that's fun. But
What's
yeah.
Universalists?
Oh, well, they believe everybody's kind of saved, and it's a little bit of a Hail Mary for that. And they're very, um, I would say intelligent, like thinking, like more serious thinking, and just this is how this is, and this is how that, and everybody goes, don't be stupid. And his grandpa was very into that. And also, funny enough, on his mom's side, they're completely like her maiden name is Gates. I mean, they come from the Gates line. So they were all the deacons. If you look into the Gates family, there's jokes about like they were all deacons, they were all in churches. Yeah. So it's
Well,
not, yeah.
interesting thing about Gates that I don't think anybody really has connected quite yet with that guy and his name. Other people have connected this. This book I'm reading on the aliens, Closer Encounters, is freaking mind blowing, and it goes into the word Babel or Babylon, and the word El is the God or the shiny one, but Bab goes to gate or a gateway or a portal, right? So there's always this tie-in to portals and gateways to a lot of stuff, the gateways and portals, and it's even tied into the UFOs. And for example, there was UFOs that were in the sky before the Black Plague when they ushered in with Justinian and legitimized Christianity, right? There was UFOs in the sky. There's reports on it, and dragons and other stuff. And then in 1850, isn't this around the time when the Mormons were
Yeah, a couple decades after they've been established.
Okay, so around that time, there was also these other UFO airships in the sky as well. There was a famous.
There's a Mormon on the ground somewhere that's like, told you. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
Yeah.
and there was some Mormon, there's this really big thing about calling, here in Utah, Area 52. There was some lights in the sky, the same thing you're talking about. There's a whole thing on this called The Lights in the Sky Over Utah with, let me think of his name. Dr. Richard Spence. He talks about this. He has his own podcast.
I interviewed him.
Yeah, he's great. He's got his podcast now, and he talks about that was his first episode that he told everybody about these lights in the sky in Utah.
So Utah, going back to gates and portals, the Skinwalker Ranch is literally a portal, a hyperdimensional portal on land, and so that's in Utah. That's where Bigelow, these billionaires, purchased this property so they could do who knows what. And tying it back into even soda, the new Stranger Things is out, and Coca-Cola is all over that show, where you got Elle, speaking of another like Elle, Babylon, Elle is crushing soda cans with her mind with telekinesis. Is that what it's called? Telekinesis? Maybe not. Maybe that's when we communicate.
No, telekinesis is you can move things, and then telepathy is where you can read things. So kinesis is what she's got.
She's using telekinesis, and I've been learning about psychotronics most recently. That's interesting too, which is
Don't you fire none of that off at me, bro. Don't give me none of that sidetronics.
You know about it?
Go on.
Oh, no. I've just been learning about it and how you're able to manipulate souls and stuff and soul harvesting.
That doesn't sound like that's in the Bible either.
I don't know. It's probably not. But the gateways and the portals and the UFOs, and Utah is not only a hot spot for UFOs, but the clouds be acting strange too. And the Stranger Things with the soda, I have this new theory. I'm going to rewatch the show. I bet you not only is it subliminal marketing for Coca-Cola, But also, I bet you by drinking this elixir of life, whoever drinks it doesn't turn into the Demogorgon, like maybe they don't end up going in the underworld if they're drinking it. So I'm going to have to rewatch it and see if they have like a spiritual connection. I have some slides too that I want to show.
Okay, all right. I want to give it a shout out that, yeah, we have seen The Heretic. We did a show on it, right? So if you go and look for Ex-Mormon Reacts to Heretic or whatever we called it, you can find it in both of our channels.
That's a great movie. I like that movie.
I'm shocked that they let it out. I'm shocked, but
so these are the carbonated bubbles, right? Where the air goes into the bubbles. So those are spirits. And that's what they actually thought when they created this carbonated soda, which is interesting, you know. But I have so many slides here. We already talked about this. This is the guy who created, he discovered carbon. And then I was looking into soda to see the root word to it, you know. And here's just some of the skulls of candy, the connection. Even ghosts like sugar. And then throughout history. And then I wonder if the Mexican soda having the good sugar in it, the Mexican Coke, I bet you there could be some alchemical thing, but you got the Easter eggs, or you got the gelt, right? The chocolate with the dreidel. There's the riots. But here we get to the soda stuff. So Sprite is like spirit in a lot of ways, right? Like you're talking about carbon, you're talking about air, and it also means elf. That's what a sprite is, which even ties back to a vampire. But speaking about the air, all these Mountain Dew commercials, it's the mountain, so there's going to be nature. But a lot of these commercials show people in the air, either jumping off a cliff, but usually in nature. But it's just something I noticed that a lot of, like, I'm just scrolling through it. They're in the air in these old ones, but even in the new ones. And this one's called Your Soul Needs Dew, right? So the marketers, the billion-dollar agency, getting people to drink these elixirs, stemming from like alchemical Paracelsus kind of technology, they know that we want to like procreate. I guess that would be a sexy way to say it. So they put subliminal messaging of the sex into it because it's triggering.
Tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's our survival needs. And the first Mountain Dew commercial was, if you drink this drink, you will get to bang. I swear, I'll show you this.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, it's one of my favorite commercials, honestly. And it's also like so uniquely American. It's this like backwoods Ozark dude that's trying to impress some hot like Southern cousin. I assume that she's a cousin, and that he drinks Mountain Dew and he can shoot better than the guy that didn't drink Mountain Dew, and therefore she's impressed and he wins her. Yeah, this is it right here.
So it'll tickle your innards. What is an innard? It's gonna. That was the Mountain Dew was Yahoo. It'll tickle your innards.
This is honestly, this is like the original Faygo, right? Like this is the original Appalachian drink, and I think that the reason, see how it starts out and it shows moonshine. The reason Mountain Dew was invented, my understanding, is that it was made to mix with moonshine, and that was considered like the best flavor, like the original flavor. I'm sure both moonshine and Mountain Dew have changed over the last 100 years, but that was essentially the origin story of Mountain Dew altogether.
This is the bang in every bottle. You get a bang in every bottle, and he even puts his finger through the hole to show you that you get to tickle those innards.
And what would you think of moonshine is?
He's doing the correct movement too. I looked this up online. I did some deep research.
Oh my gosh.
But he's doing the correct movement too with his finger.
Oh man. Yeah, he's not even the way he turned it the other way too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's crazy. It's crazy. But this is that they know what's gonna sell. So this little guy gets it, and then she loves him. So you're getting these kind of survival instincts in this. Here's another new one that came out this year, just showing the guy in the air, just more of the air stuff. But also the soul, your soul needs due. They show the reptilian, your soul needs due. It's also a spiritual thing on top of pleasure stuff.
stuff. He's being careful there. Just stuff. Well, and Coke had, I mean, cocaine in it, It's not all innocent beginnings here. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
here's the Coca-Cola original Jacob's Pharmacy. He was a pharmacist, and this is like a painting of it. And this is it today. It's a Walgreens pharmacy with a big Coca-Cola thing in there. So pharmaceutical stuff with these drinks that we're all drinking. There's a connection.
Well, I also want to just throw out there the question often comes up on this show and other shows like it, like how come we don't see buildings built the same way that they were in the 1800s, right? Like when the country was being put together, all these elaborate banks and all this crazy architecture. If you put a graph of when they took cocaine out of soda and a graph of the buildings and how impressive they are, they line up almost identically. Like the second they took cocaine out of soda, we don't get good buildings anymore because no one's got the energy to do it.
Interesting. Yeah, that's they're building all that like the Soviet Eastern Bloc, all the brutal architecture, sort of.
And that's another interesting note. I can't remember what flavor it was for the Soviets, but whenever America gets into a conflict with another country, the soda company will spin off a new flavor just for that country so that they can continue. For example, in World War II in Germany, it was Fanta, I believe. Fanta
Yeah.
came from selling it to World War II, and there was another version of this in the Soviet Union that that they ended up selling. I think it was like a variation of Pepsi that they could sell to the Soviets, so that these companies too are like these huge overarching egregores. Like they're these global conglomerates that they no longer have a country they call home.
Yeah, so Fanta, because of the embargo, they couldn't drink the Coke. So they literally created Fanta for Fanta, want a Fanta. They created that for the National Socialists. It's a literal National Socialist drink. That's its origins.
And it's damn good. I'm not afraid to say it.
And I do think there's a tie-in to these drinks with the Olympic Games, I believe, because the Olympic Games do happen in Utah, and that was I think that there could be a tie-in there.
Not now, these original people like the Coca-Cola guy. I mean, it didn't go well for them. I'm just saying, I made jokes about it, but he died like horribly.
Oh, how did he die?
Oh, he died addicted to morphine and stuff from him messing around with the Coca-Cola and stuff, and then he got stomach cancer.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah,
So what I'm
here,
saying is probably the taste testing. I don't know.
but so like you'd go to a pharmacy, like you go to Walgreens, and they would have a pharmacy soda place because they believe that soda, carbonated water, had the spirit elixir of life. So this was very common when you go to the doctor pharmacy place, that you could stop just to have the sodas, So it's
Used to be the bar. Yeah. Like the
Yeah,
innocent bar.
and it also kind of goes into, they would call the kids who drink it, was very popular, like your bartender at a bar being like all handsome, or the girl being all sexy at the bar giving you your drinks. like they had the bar jerks, and they were like, it sort of kind of reminds me of like In and Out, which is also like a religious kind of place, but the old images of like the drinking pop at the pop place, called a bar jerk.
Soda
or,
jerk. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
or
soda
soda
jerk, I
jerk,
think.
yeah. Oh, here it is. It looks like In and Out outfits, right?
Well, that's
Yeah, it
what it's
does.
meant to look like, right? All those old diners, most of them are meant to look like these old, like a phosphate diner that you'd sit down and order, like a cream soda, I guess.
Yeah. And so I'm just kind of going through my slides. I apologize.
You had that swig up there, and speaking of like these like
Oh boy,
old,
swig.
like a return back to yesteryear, that Mormons like to live in this perpetual. They're kind of like Disney adults a little bit. They like to live in like this fantasy past, and I
Yes.
think that these places, these are these dirty soda places that came up. They only got popular in Utah, and then it spread to Idaho, and now in 2025, it's starting to spread a little bit nationwide. But then people are just like, why would I need to pay $8 for a swig? I could just go and get a Mountain Dew Baja Blast, tropical rainberry or whatever the hell like the latest version of this is. But that
Well, and
these
they're
places too,
awful.
these places lean into that like old yesteryear feel.
They do like a nostalgia, and they are the other thing that you don't probably know is there's another thing that took off about the same time, and that's called the crumble cookies. So you're not wrong. They're like children. They want their soda and their cookie, like a baby at nap time or something with a milk and cookie, I guess. And these cookies are crazy big. They're like a
I think they
mini
have them in
pizza.
Orlando,
They're
but
all
Yeah.
over Scottsdale.
so that's a Mormon thing, crumble cookies.
Oh, well, it's just huge here. I mean, that and their blankies, so even funnier. So we've got like this yeah, they got their blankie, they got their cookie, and these little well, they're very expensive, minky blankies. And so these really soft blankets. It's
Uh,
all the rage.
See, they
it
smart.
sounds good.
I like the Mormons. I like cookies. I like soda.
I want
I like
I want this
blankets.
minky
comfy,
blanket
soft
you speak
blanket.
of. This
They-
sounds amazing.
Yeah, they're tapped in, and I even heard like, I don't know, it's a conversation for another story, but they.
Well, I always tell Heidi that like she's doing a horrible job of pushing me away from the Mormons. Like if anything, she's helping recruit me more and more with each show.
Well, so
Well, remember, they are the most depressed people, like almost like top of the line in the
I haven't joined yet.
statistics
I'm just
nationally.
saying. I'm getting closer each time we talk. Like the minky blanket and the dirty soda, like they're
I
like
do love
each
my
kid,
minky.
they're like pushing me a little bit closer.
Have you seen that Curb Your Enthusiasm with the wife episode?
Is this Mormon related?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure I have. I've seen the entire series like 3 or 4 times. You'll have to remind me.
it's pretty funny. I don't even want to say it on here because it's just too out there. But the Swig company, I kind of looked into it, and there seems to be some weird stuff. Like the owner of it, not the girl, but the girl's like husband. I guess he was arrested for doing something. I don't know if it's allegedly. I think he even admitted to it, but doing some bad stuff. But I don't know. I didn't really do the deep dive. This is just I'm going off of another YouTube video and them talking about it. And then I was looking into the company and what they're connected to, and there's a lot of connections to the deep state. You got MIT. Deep state is where a lot of the connections of Swig is coming from. With the people that are like within it. So there's an interesting kind of lead there, maybe.
They love Swig. I think it's gross because the problem is once they put all that crap in your soda, it's flat. And once the soda is flat, it's dead to me.
So I got some more stuff on the Mountain Dew Dewteronomy stuff right here. As I predict the future, with the symbolism of them priming stuff, what I'm thinking is that this color code that they're showing of the Baja Blast pie of Mountain Dew and Taco Bell, I look at the color coding and the color physics of it, how it is your slice of luck, and it's green, white, and yellow, right? It's the green, white, and yellow. And I think that they're tying some sort of ritual to go down in Ireland, because Ireland is the green, white, and yellow. It's like the closest to that as a flag. And even as being the slice of luck, I think that it's sort of tying connections to Ireland for a ritual, because we've seen that happen with the Francis Scott Key Bridge, and one of their released on their Liberty soda. And then the Maui Blast was another one. And here's a Taco Bell Illuminati commercial as well, the Belluminati. And
I do like
Taco,
when they lean into it. It's a little fun when the corporations like acknowledge the Illuminati.
well, they're acknowledging it, and they don't give your boy a shout out. Like,
Yeah.
right here, like in the mainstream news, they talk about, is Mountain Dew tying world tragedies, the curse of conspiracy explained. Their first one that they talked about right here, the Code Red Mountain Dew 2001 release, that was coming from the donut factory, but no links here for me and all these other, like, people that go
Well, because
viral.
they usually say they don't want to perpetuate this extremist content that Mountain Dew is releasing prophecies through their flavors at very specific times throughout the year. And I would make an argument that
No, they do.
it's not. I would say that it's not even that. I think that the Mountain Dew Corporation sits down and they're like, all right, what's coming up? Let's go ahead and plan the flavors out. I think that they're such a huge entity and they've got such a reach, and people are consuming this and putting it in their body constantly, that if you were an entity or a demon or whatever you want to call the thing, like a classic daemon, and you were like, how can I affect people? This would be a great way, just like the concept of a marketed specific flavor, because it triggers your olfactory glands, it triggers your taste buds. Like it affects you in ways that just regular visual and audible marketing can't. Like once you identify, oh, I love this like Baja Blast with 2 pumps of cream and like yada yada. Like once you've got like a dialed in taste for something that you want to smell or taste over and over again, it's way more potent than any other form of marketing. And like it's kind of untapped. So I just feel that like an entity would be like, oh, that's an easy way to like sneak in here and use that as the pattern for, and here's what's coming next. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that that's probably the entry point. And it's just us from the outside recognizing patterns, right? It's all pattern recognition. Like, oh, that's crazy. As soon as this new flavor comes out, you can expect something's going to happen. And it's not like the flavor is giving you latitude and longitude and date, but it's like, here's a thing that you can prepare for. And it's like clockwork.
Well, so the Taco Bell, I think you're right on that. It goes deep into like behavior, psychology, and somebody pointed out the bell. Like the bell is a UFO as well, and it's a time machine, and it goes into portals, because the Bell Project from the National Socialist was originally called the Portal Project. It was called the Torque Project or something. And the serpent, I want to tell people about how important the serpent is. As you can see, the Taco Bell logo having the serpent eyeball. This seems to be super important. Let me bring up, here's some old, how it was it was very spiritual to drink this drink. It was the elixir of life to drink like these carbonated drinks. Just some old pictures of how it was promoted back then. Boom, boom, boom.
I like how
boom,
all
boom.
products in the early 19th and like 20th centuries, it was all about like you're going to live longer if you do this thing. I don't think that they just had, hey, this thing tastes good, drink it. It was always, like drink the spirits of your ancestors and refresh your blood.
Yeah, so Taco Bell was created by this guy right here. He don't look Mexican to me. Maybe he is. I don't know. But this was the first Taco Bell. It's called the Mitla Cafe. This is the first Taco Bell. And Mitla is the place of the dead, right? Not that that's like a bad thing or anything. It's just interesting, tying in what Taco Bell is originating from. And ChatGPT did a pretty good job. It first was it was saying some anti-Semitic stuff at first, and I had to correct it and be like, yo, that was not cool. And I yelled at the ChatGPT because it was all, I asked it to give me a conspiracy, and it said Jude the Dew. That's it. And I was like, yo, that's messed up, bro.
Oh man.
I screenshotted it too, but I didn't put it up here. But this came up with some really good stuff, and I fact checked it. But carbonation was originally thought to be the life force, spiritus. Priests and physicians believed carbonated water had spiritual healing properties. Soda fountains in the 1800s were inside the pharmacies. The first sodas literally came from medicinal elixirs. And just goes on and on. Kind of interesting.
It all started as medicine at some point, right?
And yes. And here's the spirit folklore. And like they sell like Sprite, it's advertised to the blacks. That's where it's advertised to. And that's what Professor Griff used to talk about. That's what woke me up to this being spirit. And I was like, that's interesting. And that's actually how I learned about Michael Tessarian, was through a Professor Griff video like in 2012. And Tessarian, in one of his podcasts, he said it very briefly, but he brought up how Pepsi is connected to APEP, and it's connected to like the serpent, right? Like you're drinking literally like serpent. And then I met this guy named Paranoid American, and here's APEP, right? Serpent. I met this guy, Paranoid American. Well, there you got the Soma drink, and Soma, this is also tied to like some serpent stuff too. And so there's all these different drinks tied to the serpent. Even in Blink Twice, they drink this serpent drink as well. But then I met this guy, Paranoid American, and then he brought up Sobe. Tell us about Sobe.
Sobe, this one I think also came from a Michael Sarion video. Highly recommend that you go and find this and bookmark it. It was called it was from the Conspiracy Con 2003, and I think it was called Subliminal Use of Sacred Symbolism in the Media. It says something very similar to that. If you put all that in, you'll probably find it. And he had this whole bit on how Sobe was a reference to this underworld, this Egyptian god that like protected the underworld. He was kind of like the satanic god. I mean, if you had to draw, like oversimplifying, draw a connection, but that he protected this underworld, and that when you drink Sobe, it was like you're ingesting, you're making part of your body the energy of the people that decided on that branding and put it on that bottle, that somehow they're transferring energy. This is how I understood it. They're transferring their bad intent and their negative vibrations into the drink, so that when you drink it, you are inadvertently taking part of this ancient ritual that is essentially paying homage to this ancient god Sobek.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy. And then you got the lizards, which is like serpent, sort of, all over that, you know.
It's wild.
Heidi,
I mean,
how do you feel about this, Heidi?
oh yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it just makes you wonder, like, you know, the backstories of things. Like, I wouldn't have even known that, you know, like I would have had no idea.
And I just want to point out again, like the whole dirty soda connection here is that Mormon, someone posted in the comments much earlier, they're like, well, Mormons can't drink caffeine. Nuh-uh. they changed it in
It was
2012.
never caffeine. It was never. They drank caffeine.
So they
in all the
clarified,
there's
but
they even manufactured caffeine in hot cocoa that they manufacture and give out to poor people. So they can't even
but
say that.
there was some sort of a perception that they weren't allowed to drink
Yeah.
caffeine, and Brigham Young University did not sell caffeinated drinks on campus. So there was clearly some version of people that believed that they couldn't drink caffeine. So in 2012, it was like they firmly were like, not only are you allowed to drink caffeinated soda, but here's a whole bunch of things just for us in Utah. Here's 3 different soda chains that are going to help you get back, like, because we've lost the soda culture war as Mormons, and we need to make up for it. And I feel that this is them trying to leapfrog back to modern day and soda, because they realize how magical this process is. And if there's one thing that the Mormons can do to acquire a more magical modern practice, they've got the money and the resources to attain it. So even if they're only a little bit interested in it, they can pursue it. So I just feel that there is a connection between the dirty soda phenomenon and the Mormons and all of this like soda prophecy.
Well, and you mentioned In-N-Out, and that's like a huge thing here. I mean, if you try to go to In-N-Out on a Friday night, it's wrapped around the building twice. So
Well, that's the
Same here.
quote unquote Christian fast food, right? Because they put Bible references on the bottom of their cups.
Yeah, they occult Bible references and the In-N-Out cups, and they have a occult menu as well. That if you're in the know, you could order something on their occult menu. That's pretty cool. We can do a video on that, occult In-N-Out, because like the word occult, people think it means cult, but it means hidden. So they have a hidden menu, which is.
And I think Aleister Crowley would love the name In-N-Out.
Yeah, In-N-Out, yeah, for real. Like it's all like it goes
That's
back.
called the Mormon divorce, real quick.
And
there.
the animal style, right? Isn't that an In-N-Out thing?
Yep, that is. That's on the
I want to
secret.
go and do an In-N-Out animal style.
There's so many things. Yeah, we could do that on more than In-N-Out. There's so many places that have like a occulted menu. Like, oh man, there's a lot.
I want to know the occult Del Taco. That's where we need to. They're somehow escaping all the heat. They need to be under the microscope.
Don't you talk about Del Taco.
Like Jack in the Box. That also sounds like it could go along the same lines as In-N-Out.
Well, In-N-Out.
Jack does? It goes in and out.
The symbol of In-N-Out is a lot like all the other symbols of the sun rising over the mountain, which Jordan Maxwell went into. But Del Taco, I mean, not In-N-Out, Del Taco. It's all like solar symbolism.
Well, maybe they're just not hiding it, right? They're like, hey, guess what? Here's what we worship. No. There's no confusion there.
Cool. So I'm curious in terms of Mormon diet, what are Mormons not allowed to have in 2025?
So you can't drink alcohol or do drugs not prescribed by a doctor. They're all about the prescription drugs. They're one of the top in the nation for
Is there medical
no medical
in Utah? If there were, and then you could get it prescribed by a doctor, would that magically become okay?
I think they'd still push back on you because they own all the pharmaceutical companies and the labs, and I mean they do allow it here, but it is very hard to get. And then like, even if you get it, like I have somebody in my family that has the card and you can go to the pharmacy and then your job goes, yeah, no, you can't do that.
What about the temple? Is the temple okay with it?
I mean, if it was ordered by a doctor, sure. But they'd much rather have you on, some Xannies or whatever else they could prescribe because they own all the labs, like, and all the pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies, and hospitals and old folks' homes. And yeah.
Did Joseph Smith drink alcohol?
Oh, he totally did. But, they'll get out of it by saying it was like a sacrament. When you look into different things, especially the School of the Prophets, they would tell them to fast and then go and take this wine, people that never drink, and they'd be all whacked out of their minds, but Yeah, it was funny. They even had here when Brigham Young came, they had their own like wine grape vineyards and stuff for alcohol, but that was because they said, okay, you can drink this, no hard liquor, but you can drink like beer and wine if you make it yourself. Well, funny enough, his mom owned a beer place. His mom did make Joseph Smith's mom made, money off of having sold those items. So I'm sure it was just probably advertising.
That was the
Early
Crowley
advertising.
business too. His family is a lineage of these alcohol corporations and Crowley Brewing.
Yes. Yep.
It's interesting stuff. All the different drinks and food that people eat, and now they're trying to remove all the addictive chemicals in all these drinks, and with the Maha, and what kind of psychological effects is that going to bring on to society? Like, I think that you could control society in a lot of ways by getting them all pumped on sort of different mind altering chemicals. Like we saw how great the buildings were when everyone was yoked up. Is that the correct
When coffee was
terminology?
invented. Yeah. Pushed.
When
Yeah.
everyone was
Everybody was.
on.
Woo!
And so like there's been a big push to slow down and degenerate society going backwards rather than forwards. You get all this talk of like, oh, the progressives or whatever, but really they don't even know what that word means. And we're seeing a degeneration, like a deterioration, going back to caveman days with that of a grunt of a emoji. And the words that we use is like really puts a bigger picture. And so we're going backwards. And so when they're removing these different substances, it's weird to hear about Utah because I don't partake in the ganja, but if I did, I would really enjoy being in Utah because it's cold and it would feel good, like in the lungs, or just like smoking a cigarette or something in Utah in the cold. And then looking at all the pretty nature and the snow, it seems to be fun, but that's removed. So there's going to be a different energy there, like there is in the city. I can't walk down the street without getting marijuana smoke all over my face in California, in Arizona, in Florida, like all over these places.
Oh,
And so what the big push of slowing people down with the lean, and even when you're listening to Chopped and Screwed, it's slowed down as well, and it's not pumped up. But all the kids today, they're all on these hyper stimulants. Even myself, it's kind of weird. The 90s are weird because we had Monster energy drinks and also the pot. So it was sort of, but what's happening to society with removing these things? It's interesting on it. And also the naughty websites, right? Like the Utah was the #1 purchaser for Girls Gone Wild, and they
That
didn't
doesn't
have.
surprise me.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Because they had the commercial on, and it was the top seller there. But you can't go there and watch these erotic videos, but they're the purchasers there. But now that they're the only way you can watch those videos now, at least in the state of Arizona, is you have to turn in your government ID so they can see what your kinks are in a way. So whatever type of
That's the same here. Yeah.
So these little things, like Thomas was saying, like even if it sounds crazy, these little mechanisms of our day-to-day activity and a long trajectory lead society in the collective in a certain way. So I don't know where I'm going with all this.
Soda prophecy. That's where, right?
well, I
I mean-
think what they're doing is they're mapping out like what your spectrum of taste would be, right? If someone were to raise you and could control everything you saw, they could limit the spectrum of color that you grow up seeing, right? And your brain would shape in a way that it just wouldn't know that certain colors exist if those were prevented from being shown to you. In the same way that the colors they do show you are the only ones that you latch onto. And I just feel that there's another version of that happening for your taste buds, and there's another version of it happening for your olfactory glands. If you actually look into who are like the taste makers of scents, and it also comes from like a tiny little consortium of like French. Originally, it's like Cologne, France, right? It's where like Cologne comes from. That it would come from this tiny little group of people, and they're the kingmakers. They're the ones that get to decide what's going to be fashionable scent wise, and they determine like what scents relate to different classes. And that I think that there's like Mountain Dew is just a 2025 version of that same thing, and Pepsi and Coca-Cola and all of these, but they're in every single store, every single gas station. Coca-Cola is one of the most recognized brands worldwide. So this isn't just throwing darts at a board. This is actually something that impacts every single human being on the planet, which is not the same thing that you can say for many other corporations and many, like if we were talking about Doritos, it's fun, like the Illuminacho thing, but Doritos has got nothing on Coca-Cola, and by proxy on Pepsi, and by proxy on Mountain Dew, Baja Blast, Code Red, Code Winter, Zero or whatever.
So the cologne smell comes from the whale's feces, and that's where we get that good smell from for the elite smell. It's from whale poop.
Well, one of them. I think it's like a base, right? There's
it's
like
a high-end brand,
the mid-tone, the high notes, and that's where they like put it all together. But the premise being though that there's a small group of people that decide what scents you're going to be accessing, just like there's a group of people that decide what flavors you're going to be experiencing.
You walk into the supermarket, they have the chicken stand right in the front, so you smell it. Then it puts you under mind control where you start to salivate, and then you get hungry as you shop. And then the music playing is all about supporting your family and like all these Beatles songs and all this love songs. And then you're like, yeah, I'll spend the extra $10. That extra $10 adds up. And then that's the whole mind control. And it's like you're walking around like the circle ritual of like a religion in the supermarket to pay and then leave. And everyone does that, seeing the Mountain Dews and Coca-Colas.
Also, to throw out there, if the book Fast Food Nation, the movie wasn't great, but the book Fast Food Nation had a really great investigative report in there that was talking about how when you go by a fast food restaurant, some of them were actually creating chemicals in a lab that had the smell of like freshly fried food, and they would just emit it into the air so that if you drove by or if you were walking by a restaurant, you'd smell hamburger even if they didn't freshly cook it. It would smell like that, and it would draw people in because it would like hook their scent and pull them right in. So again, this is like a very untapped version of marketing that is incredibly powerful, and not a lot of us have developed like self-defense mechanisms around this type of marketing yet.
I definitely do not have self-defense mechanism on a real Coke or Pepsi. I do not put cream in my Coke or Pepsi, but it's happening once a day. That's.
Are you gonna warm up?
Taco Bell has the best Pepsi on earth. What's that?
Are you gonna warm up a Dr. Pepper?
No, I hate any other soda. I know I'm a weird Mormon. Like I'm telling you, I hate all that. No, that's why I had to get out. I didn't fit in with those girls that go and have 77 flavors in their soda.
That proves my point a little bit too, though. When you're like, who has the best Pepsi? Taco Bell has the best Pepsi.
That's right.
Taco Bell has the best Dr. Pepper.
Well, this is also because different restaurant chains actually have tweaked the exact ratio of syrup to flavoring to just regular soda, so that certain chains you'll develop a taste for like Taco Bell's version of
That's
Pepsi.
100% true. That's a
Well,
and Coke has ruined theirs. It used to be a McDonald's Coke. I'll tell you, McDonald's Cokes used to be the bomb, but now, and I won't drink it if it's not good. Like if it's mediocre, forget it. I'm not drinking it at all ever. My husband knows. He knows to check them. If he goes to get the soda and he doesn't check it and brings me some crap watered down stuff, like he knows he's going back. And so I'm like, I cannot, and I'm not fussy about almost anything else that I eat or whatever, but that is one thing that I'm like, nope.
Just your soda.
And McDonald's ruined it. Yeah, they ruined their soda.
JC Penney, the malls, and all this, they are a credit company, right? That's how they make their money. They don't make money by selling products. They make money by the interest on the credit cards. That's why you go to TJ Maxx. They always offering you the credit cards, or Best Buy, because that's what they are. Their company is literally an interest lending company. Same thing with these fast food chains. They're real estate companies. So they own the best properties. Starbucks is on every corner, McDonald's and all that. But one of their biggest cash flows is soda, because it is the lowest, highest mark profit, because it costs them maybe a fraction of a penny to pour a cup of soda, and they charge like $5 for a large soda. So they're pretty much just making money out of thin air with soda and whatnot. So
It's true, because you will pay. Like if you're at somewhere stupid and you can't get out, right? Like Disneyland or something, you're gonna buy it. It's gonna happen. And somebody mentioned the nanobots. That is a new deal with the Gates. Gates Foundation.
This is new to me. What Coca-Cola has
There's a
nanobots
big
in
no.
it?
This is I don't know if it's serious or what, but like Gates just made a big deal about 4 or 5 months ago with Coke, and this is supposed to be like, yeah. That's what I've looked into this. This isn't just a silly thing. Yeah. And also Pepsi Clear was disgusting.
I'm gonna keep it very, very PG here. I just want to say that the next iteration of a thing that you'll be suggested to consume, like in 2019, 2020, it might just be the new, Mountain Dew Baja protect yourself and your family flavor, and just go and you get one and you drink it and you're good to go, and it comes free with your meal or something. I feel that like that would be a very natural progression in like a soft launch of something that would be more acceptable, right?
Well, I mean, they're gonna do it. It's in everything. It's impossible. I mean, they've done studies out at the most purest vineyards that are supposed to be completely all natural. And they've done studies on the graphene oxide, and it's still in the wine, like in the most naturalist places, completely away from everything. Yeah. And Cisco runs all of, like, if you eat anywhere out, I don't care which flavor you want to get, like they all have the same distributor. So
yeah, it's the same joke that people would tell about Taco Bell, where you're just going to Taco Bell, you're just rearranging the same 3 ingredients and different, like we're gonna roll it up, we're gonna deep fry it, we're gonna put it in, it's all the exact same thing. That's if you were to see that as the microcosm. The macro is that, well, every restaurant is just Cisco rearranging Cisco ingredients in like a million different ways.
Yeah, there's only like 3 distributors. There's a book called The Food Barons, and like it talks all about this, and it's a very interesting read when you look at different stuff. Like, I mean, people complain, like you said, about, Taco Bell's meat. And I'm like, it's the same meat. Like, it's the same here as at your local, probably like Mexican food place down the street. Like, they
add like sand to it, essentially.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
silica diactate or something.
But they say it's not real meat. Like, I had a family member that worked there. You just add water to it and shake it up. Like, it's this weird, I don't know.
It's like a homunculus.
It's a homunculus. Where's Juan?
We'll get him on one of the future episodes.
Yeah, he's disappeared. That's not nice. I love his work.
Juan is the most popular topic. Everyone talks about him wherever I go.
I miss him. Yeah,
he's a genius. Him stepping away has brought nothing but like positivity.
Sadness.
Everyone loves him.
Yeah, I mean, his work was really good. Like, I just think he got tired of stupid people or something.
I like how everyone talks nice about him like he died now.
I know. We
Hey,
don't
that's
know. We
all I
haven't
know.
seen.
What a great guy. Don't have
That's
a
how I
bad
know.
word to say about him.
Wait,
That's
no,
good.
that's not
Yeah.
how I know Thomas. I know Thomas through Mark, and my family thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah, I just think your guys' work, like a lot of the deep dives you guys would do, you got me in trouble. You almost got me thrown out of work one day. P.S. By the way, Thomas, you and Juan and that show about the cow, the book of the cow,
Oh
and
yeah.
this guy kind of overheard it a little bit because I wasn't fast enough on the pause button. It was late at night, and he was from Yale or somewhere, and he was like, "Are you listening to?" And he knew, and I said, "Yeah, well, why?" And he's like, "That is, you stay away from me." And he like told on me and everything.
Oh, but like he knew that this was some deep magic.
He knew, and he was scared. He would not talk to me. He wouldn't take pills for me. Like I had to go get the other nurses. He was like, "Get that woman away from me. She's
This was
mm-mm."
the Liber Vacay or Liber
Yes,
Vaca.
it was so good. And I always talk about that show because I'm like, you guys think that things that have been not in circulation for a long time, much like soda, right? They're going to slip. They've been slipping things in everything since you don't even know when. So, including your water. Yeah. That's why boys
Did
have
you
sugar
ever
tits now.
grow? I grew up in I grew up in Vegas, so I was probably not the same for maybe for Florida, but maybe not so much Utah. But you have a friend that it was in the erotic entertainment industry, and everybody knows about it and talks about it, but like you don't want to let them know that you know. That's
Definitely
probably
not in Utah.
that's unique. Okay, so this is very popular in Vegas or just in recovery, being in recovery because of people's hard times having to do stuff like that just to make it through the day. But the same thing kind of goes with YouTubers. And so when I go to like a place and meet people like a social circle,
They're like, what do you do?
they pretend they don't know, but they do know that what I do. So it's funny because then I'll talk to them like I don't know who they are, and then it turns out like it will slip out like that they've seen the videos or
That's
something like
funny.
that. And the number one question, yeah.
The only way I've gotten identified like that, at least in Utah, thank heavens, because it's not a positive response here for me. Get it? They're all Mormons and yeah. Okay, so they hate me probably. And so this girl
I don't think
though,
so. They want you back.
just recently I laughed out loud at a store and this girl flipped around and she goes, "Are you on the radio?" And I was like, "What?" I'm like buying Christmas stuff. What? And she's like, "My dad listens to you and I know it because that laugh." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, doxing
Oh, that's
myself."
wild.
You got to imagine that you've got an ex-Mormon listener base, and there's probably going to be a concentration of those in the Mormon capital of the freaking world, right? So,
Yeah, I would think so. Maybe. But Donut was going to tell us some knowledge and I interrupted. Sorry, Donut.
Well, I
What
was
do you
just
say
gonna
when
say
they
that
find
I
out?
get one question, and it is repeated over and 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 over again. And that is, you don't believe the stuff you're talking about, do you? Like that's always the same question. And I figured out how to get them to leave, and I just say no. It makes them feel better. If that makes them sleep better at night, they go. But the real ones will stick around and have a 2 week conversation.
Oh, 2 weeks. Oh no. You're like, "Oh no, help me." Oh,
No,
I
it turns
mean,
into a friendship, and then
oh, that's good.
that's why it lasts. Yeah.
I love that actually. I love that you will sit down with them and talk with. I think that's good. And somebody did shout out on here about the AA community in Utah, and I have to agree. I work in addiction recovery. That's what kind of nurse I mostly am. Sometimes I'm in like the withdrawal part of it. A lot of times sometimes I'm on the psych side, but most of the time I'm in the addiction recovery. And my son is in addiction recovery and they like run their unit like whatever in their area. And I have to say, honestly, their recovery programs here are really good. So if anybody is needing that, especially this time of year, I like to mention this because holidays are stressful and people get stressed out, There's always numbers to call and places to go and people that care. So,
And there's always the stuff. You can just consume the stuff and you'll feel better too.
well, the Dr. Pepper. Go buy a Dr. Pepper.
Great. Have you ever seen the movie The Stuff, 1985?
I haven't seen that.
Highly recommend it. It's like a product
Oh.
that every company starts advertising, and they start now with the stuff, but it's like a alien species. Like it's literally an alien from outer space that's getting us to like eat it through candies and other
I believe
treats.
that.
The stuff.
There's stuff for every person too. Like you said, the flavor profiling, like they know, oh, she likes salty things or he likes sweet things. And then I think they cater your advertising, to the things that you buy or they hear you talk about because they're always snooping in on your stuff. So
The stuff. I just put it on my watch list.
I'm gonna do that as well. Have
All
to.
right, let's all watch The Stuff. Maybe we can come
Gotta
back
watch
and talk
the stuff.
about.
Do a review.
I bet you there's a Mormon somewhere in there.
I bet there's one behind the scenes.
Actor,
if
writer,
not.
producer, someone is a
Mhm.
Mormon involved in that movie.
They're
So I'll
coming out of
call
the
it now.
tunnels. Yeah, digging their way to the top. Yeah.
One more thing on just the mind control of the sugar is that each person is addicted to a certain, licorice or whatever it is. And it's always a fruit, right? It's always like a lime or blueberry, or it's always some sort of real sugar. And so like our brain probably is all like, this is the stuff, this is the good stuff, this is the honey, but
Mhm.
so that's probably something like cherry Coke, right? Cherries, vitamin C, cherry, yeah.
Someone mentioned in the comments earlier too, like what about stevia? I don't know. I actually kind of feel like I've been pro stevia because I remember
I think
when it
stevia is
was
okay.
banned by the FDA, and there was a couple tea companies that would put stevia in their like no calorie sweetened tea, and it got blockaded. Like they wouldn't allow it to be imported into the country because they
Really?
were like,
It's all natural.
and there was this whole thing that the sugar companies and the corn syrup companies, they were like, no, we're not going to let another competitor into the ring. You got to jump through the same hoops we did. But then slowly stevia is in every single diner that you go to. They've got the little stevia packets. So clearly now, but yeah, it's 100% natural. There's only two things. One, it doesn't caramelize, so it doesn't act the same way that sugar and corn syrup can act because they have like real sugar in it. But also, some people just can't stand the taste, and I think it's because it's too sweet. I think it
you
is
got to
like
be careful.
it's the sweetest substance on the planet, the natural occurring substance. So like the tiniest little bit is more than enough. It might even be too much, and a lot of people I think overdo it. But Coke had a version, right? Coke Green was like the stevia version of Coke.
Yeah, I remember that. I never drink anything diet or anything because I used to be real addicted to like diet, the aspartame stuff before the stevia. So I was glad to see it come out because I did get cancer, very young. And I always look back on that and go, it was the diet Pepsi. Damn it.
Oh, wow.
I can't prove that.
No, yeah,
But-
Donald Rumsfeld will never do that to you.
Right. No, of course not. And I do think it's funny, like we've brought up sugar and Mormons. Like I will tell you guys, not only did they infiltrate with the beet sugar and, making sure the church owned that, but also they infiltrated Hawaii and the cane sugar because they intermarried into those families and totally took that shit over. So most of Hawaii is basically owned by Mormons through either family of Mormons or other things, like even to Mormon royalty, like literal and real royals. Now they're like in the Hawaiian like kings and queen line, and they have a thing about this. It makes you wonder because we go back to Cisco, right? We go back to all these things that we know that are controlled and have like this utter control, and sugar is definitely one of them. And I mean, like he said, if they're going to remove the bad things, I look forward to it because if you ever go out of the country, not only Mexican Coke, but Italy Coke is better. French Coke is better. Like all the other Cokes are way better. So I'm all about it.
I think there's a psyop going on here between they had sugar, because I remember when sugar was also bad. Like sugar is technically a toxin, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
it's not a nutrient, so therefore it's kind of like in this other space, and it harms you. It actively harms you. So there was this perception of like sugar's bad, so they bring in corn syrup or beet sugar, whatever. They bring in corn syrup, and then they get everyone to be like, "Oh man, I wish that soda just had regular sugar in it back when it was healthy." And that mentality of like healthy sugary soda, it's such a weird twist.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
not
like
why for me. Just tastes better. I'm all about just the taste profile there.
but
I
it
don't
might
know.
also just be that was what you're used to. You know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
grew up with a different taste profile, maybe then you'd prefer the corn syrup soda instead of the sugar soda.
We'd have to ask somebody that grew up somewhere else. I wonder if they get that same weird, like, oh, America's soda is so much better. I don't know. We'd have to find out. I'm gonna ask my French friend.
Well, Donut, you got anything coming up? Anything to promote? Any new videos to people check out?
I'm working on my Patreon, the UFO type information, and I'm about to release in the next couple of days the next addition to it. There's two more additions. One's going into the Wi-Fi mantises, which is the whole reason I partaked on this 2-hour long presentation because of the mantis aliens. And I'll be releasing the next addition to that program on maybe I'll be done in like 2 more days or something. And right after this podcast, I'm going back on with Matt Arad and Cynthia Chung, and we're going to be discussing Edgar Allan Poe and also Rosicrucian and also a bunch of other wild topics.
That's
So
awesome.
look out for that.
The praying mantis aliens, are you talking about the ones like that look like that, like with the little antennas on? Because if you are, well,
Yeah.
you need to look at Southern Utah hieroglyphs, because I'm
Okay.
telling you right now, like they are here and it's on their hieroglyphs. I can
I've
even
seen that with the people
Yeah.
on the red like mountain hieroglyphs. Mantis.
Yep.
Okay. I'll put
They
that.
really, yeah, it's serious out here. You'll probably open up a whole, and they really do call a place called Area 52 here because there was
Mhm.
so much activity. So it's
Yeah.
really weird.
Yeah. Thank you. I will put that in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Well-
And my mom and daughter will both see your show because my mom is literally a Patreon subscriber to you. She loves your stuff.
Oh,
And my daughter loved you. And if she could, she would, but she's 11.
well, shout out to them.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for coming on. I always love talking to Donut.
Yeah, thank you,
Donut's
Donut.
awesome.
What do you got going on, Heidi?
I have been in the midst of a crazy Twitter whirl. I don't know if you've seen me on Twitter
No,
lately.
what do you mean the Twitter whirl?
Oh boy. So I ended up getting in with some researchers, and we have been going hardcore on exposing Mormonism stuff, like all into like clear back in the day, clear back to the Rothschilds, it goes into everything. And we've been doing these really deep dives, and I've actually been on a couple of lives, and we're going to be doing another one coming up soon where you do the call in, in their chat rooms, whatever. And so that's been really fun. My last one was 4 hours long. So
Okay, maybe
it
we need to
was
do like a
wild.
greatest hits for an upcoming episode. You can get me caught up to speed on all this.
It was fun. I've reposted a lot, and with the sharing with the different countries, it's been fantastic, honestly. So Meow Lion has helped me a lot. If she hears this, shout out to her, because she's been like hitting it hard with me on this, and we've found some really crazy stuff. Crazy. And I just released with LDS abuse. If people have seen Justin Riggs before, he is amazing researcher. He's an ex-Mo as well. And I just re-released an old episode with him and our new one together for my Thanksgiving special. And it goes into basically the tentacles. I got to find a new word that I like for that, but of the Mormon church into everything. People are going to be surprised, including different religions that it sprouted into at the beginning.
That
So,
a better word than tentacles?
Yeah, something everybody
What about
uses
like
that
their
one.
little divining rods or something?
Oh, there you go. They're little, yeah, the rods of divine. Yeah, they
Get
definitely
your
were
little
like
rods
that.
out of here.
Exactly. It's wild. It's actually been like okay, fun fact that we found is that the Mormon Church, even before the Balfour Declaration happened, went to Israel, went to the Mount of Olives with a guy that had converted and was Jewish and went there and claimed the land. And so technically I mean that's kind of concerning that that happened and they just kind of hide that one. But they really did do that. And Orson Hyde did that. Originally, they say his name was Orson Heidelbaum, and it gets interesting. It gets very interesting because he was top Mormon hierarchy, and as well as I found out Peter Till's grandpa, or uncle came out here and was the first principal of BYU, unbeknownst to me, Maeser, Mazer, his name. There's a building to his credit to this day, and that's a real story with photos. I've verified everything. So it's
So
been
Peter Thiel's Mormon
um, Elon Musk's
adjacent.
number one money guy is a Mormon, Jared Birchall, the people behind them. It's just very interesting, right? Let alone the Howard Hughes and the Howard Hughes Medical Institution connection. That's almost frightening knowing
Well,
that they have their rods and all of that.
the whole thing with being worried about population not sustaining itself. I don't think the Mormon community in particular is as concerned with that. If anything, they're like, yeah, let everyone else sort of like phase out a little bit, and that just gives
Yes.
you more chairs at the table, essentially.
Well, and they do that with people like Elon too. Like, look, he keeps popping out babies like a Mormon every other friggin' year. Like, he's having kids. So they only do that to some people. They just don't want certain people to,
That's Elon's
procreate.
version of like, you get a car and you get a car and you get a car.
Right?
Like, you got to have a kid.
Exactly. Yeah, and the eugenics part, even with the guy I already mentioned, Orson Hyde, his son went on very early on in Utah history to run a eugenics program here that is very interesting and scary, terrifying, actually. So,
Oh, there you go. That'll be the next, maybe a Christmas special Mormon
right?
eugenics.
Woo. That's a treasure trove. We will have so much to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's nuts. I'm deep into that research right now because that's
They were making homunculuses, Donut.
oh, yeah, they're doing something.
Well, let me do my plug towards the end of this here. It's for the next 5-6 days until Friday. I've got all my single issue comics on 50% off, the lowest they've ever been. So if you're curious, if you want to dabble, you want to get some awesome comics to put in as like stocking stuffers yourself, as gifts for anyone, look, you just go up here and click shop and look at all these comics that are half off. $3 for the Chosen One, $2.50 for the MK Ultra, $5 for pretty much every other issue. So you can pretty much
You got
scoop
some
up
Illuminati ones up there.
the
The
That's
Illuminati
what I
ones
was
are in
gonna
here.
say. God,
Illuminati
the
ones.
Illuminati.
I like
Illuminati's are
Illuminati.
on the very front page. So if you want to get the Illuminati comic
I was
that
talking
Donut
about
and I worked on, it's right there. The very first
There we
item,
go.
$3.50. I mean, it's never been that cheap
You
before.
can't get it. On my side, it's $10. So
I know it is. I want to get as many of these out for Christmas as possible, and in like as many stockings as possible.
And you still
So,
got some calendars. I'm all out of calendars. So if y'all want to get the occult calendar, Thomas, Paranoid American, still got the occult calendar.
I think I got like 10 left.
Yeah.
Better
So
get
there you
on it,
go.
guys. They're gonna be
That's the
gone.
plug. Get on it. Now's the time. I got the deal going until December 5th, and I ship out very next day. So shout out to everyone
Thank
that
you
ordered
for all
one.
the super chats as well.
Thank you,
Vampire
thank you.
Jack.
You didn't miss out on nothing. There's plenty of time.
Got to get you a comic or a calendar at least. There's only 10 left. Who knows? That'll be quick. So,
All
but
right.
yeah,
Well,
this has been great. Thank you, you guys.
Thank
hopefully
you.
we've got another one coming at some point next month. We'll figure it out. So it might
We
be on a
have
Monday.
to.
It might be on a
Yeah.
Sunday. Who knows?
We got to make it happen. We always do. It's monthly Mormon Monday. So,
All right. Well, have a
And I
great
also
Monday,
got
everyone.
Heidi's links and Thomas's links.
thank you. Thank you.
Paranoid. Yo. I scribble my life away, driven to write the page. Will it enlighten your brain? Give you the flight, my plane, paper, the highs ablaze. Somewhat of an amazing feel when it's real to real. You will engage it. Your favorite, of course, the Lord of an arrangement. I gave you the proper results to hit the pavement. If they get emotional, hate, maybe your language, a game, how they playing it well without Lakers. Evade them, whatever the cost, they are the shapeshift. Snakes get decapitated, met is the apex. Execution of flame you out, nuclear bomb distributed at war, rather gruesome for eyes to see. Max them out, then I light my trees. Blow it off in the face, you're despising me for what though? Calculated and rather cutthroat. Paranoid American must be all the blunt smoke for real. Lord, give me a day away, vacate. They wait around to hate whatever they say. Man, it's not in the least bit. We get heavy rotate when the beat hits, so thank us, you're welcome. Fuck the niggas for real, you're welcome. They ain't never had a deal, you're welcome. Man, they lacking appeal, you're welcome. Yet they doing it still.